Hello everyone and welcome to the Game Week 1 deadline stream. Thanks for everyone that's headed into the chat early. It's good to have everyone here. Here is currently the Game Week 1 team with the full 15-man squad at the minute. We still have £0.5 million in the bank, so there's probably going to be a little bit of tinkering with this team over the stream. I am looking to upgrade Doherty to Perisic potentially at £5.5 million. Obviously, there's going to be news with him, hopefully, about whether he's going to be playing, because obviously Antonio Conte made those comments whether he's going to be starting or not. So we'll have to see. Yes, but otherwise, here's the 15-man squad. Hey man, welcome to the chat, bro. Good to have you in. And also, if anyone has any questions about the stream, just let us know. Rate your teams. Send us a message. We can rate the teams as well on stream. We'll just... yeah, okay, cool. Everything should be set up. Okay, so first things first, here is the starting team. We'll go over to our team page right now. This is our current draft. 4-4-2 formation, Raya in goals, double Liverpool defence with Trent and Robbo. Doherty's there right now, but I'm not fully happy with this pick. I'd like to switch him over to Perisic preferably. And then maybe I'm happy with Cancelo there. The midfield's fine at this stage. Triple Arsenal attack. I mean, at this point, it's kind of just moving slowly towards the template just to make sure, essentially preserve that rank in the first game week of the season. Obviously, game week 1's not the time to go massively differential. I think that time comes throughout the season, but for right now, I think it's all about building up that solid starting squad. And at the end of the day, even though, yes, there is triple Arsenal attack, all these three players in their own right are good assets. Yeah, and how's it going, bro? Yeah, pretty good yourself. It is a bit early where we are right now. Actually, it's 2 a.m. in the morning. I've got to be honest, it is 2 a.m. in the morning. Because we are in Australia. It's Australia time. In Melbourne, it is very cooked at this time. But, of course, we always got to stay on the grind. Make sure we're getting the deadline stream going for you guys. And I'm very gassed up. Also, score predictions for Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. I think Palace are kind of getting slept on a bit. To be honest, they're not bad at home, especially against some of those big six sides. Very, very solid team. So that's why we did originally have Ramsdale in this squad. But we have gone for him down to Raya. And yeah, as Abhishek says, Doherty didn't even train. Yeah, we are going to look to get rid of him right now on stream, because we do have the extra $500,000 in the bank. Already up to 7.5 million players. That is increased by around 1.5 to 2 million over the last couple of days. He's the man that we're looking to get rid of. Now, I'll just have to double check what any news about Perisic whilst trying to stream at the same time, which can be a little bit tricky. So predicted team. Session is featured in the predicted team. It's so difficult to pick right now, isn't it? Yeah, we'll have to see. There's been a couple of leaks about the potential Spurs team having Emerson and Session as their fullbacks, which is interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if we wanted to go up to another defender, it'd probably be Reece James at £6 million, but we don't have the funds at this current stage. So we may have to do a little bit of tinkering around the squad, where we go to free out the extra 0.5. I'm not too sure, because I don't necessarily want to downgrade Martinelli to Neto. And I don't really necessarily want to go 2 4.0 keepers there as well. So definitely a bit of a dilemma there for that last defensive slot. And obviously Reece James has one of the highest ownerships out of any defender. We'll filter this by ownership actually. Ward's there, of course, in goals. He looks to be a nice pick. And then Reece James there, 40.6% ownership, and we can't quite fit him into the side. I think there's just too much doubt over those Spurs fullbacks at this current stage. So, yeah, it's a bit of a dilemma. We couldn't go for an Arsenal player because we've got triple Arsenal already. Yeah, Hans says, do you think that Martinelli is a better option than Ramsdale as a third Arsenal player? Personally, I'd have to agree, yes. Martinelli had a great pre-season, and yeah, I mean, Arsenal's fixtures are great, so I think, yeah, Martinelli's nice. Love the grow, mate. Can you choose one for me? Rashford's and Andreas, or Bailey and Neto rotating? I mean, I like the idea of having most of the money spent on the pitch, so you have to go Rashford, Andreas. I think definitely early on, especially with the essential extra wildcard this season, you want to be spending as much money on that starting XI as possible. Don't worry about having that super strong bench. Alongside Saka and Jesus, yeah, well, we've got that triple Arsenal attack there as well, isn't it? Trippier, best option in my opinion, and rotates nicely with Patterson. Yes, I've seen a lot of people go for Trippier, actually. He starts well. Forest and Brighton is nice. Manchester City at home, not the greatest. Wolves away. Wolves don't score too many goals, and they're without Jimenez at this current stage. So from an offensive standpoint, could struggle. They're Wolves. Perisic is there, a bit too much down him. Reece James, probably can't afford him. Cash is another one to consider. They've got 3 decent fixtures to start, but otherwise you kind of get stuck there. West Ham, Arsenal, Man City, Leicester. Trippier is probably the favourite right now for the spot on the side. You'd have to assume, I think, Nottingham Forest at home it's a nice start for game week 1, that's for sure. Yeah. It's the shame about those Tottenham defenders because I was really looking forward to going Perisic there at 5.5. Stops. Thoughts on Kulusevski for game week 1, then transfer to a Man City 8 mil mid. I can see the reasoning. As far as 8 million midfielders go, I do like a couple of the other picks like Diaz and Saka. But Kulusevski could be a nice differential. If you already have a Kane or a Son in the team, I probably wouldn't go for Kulusevski. And especially since you're booking in that transfer, I can see the temptation to target those Man City players in game week 2 because they got Bournemouth at home, which was our thinking with Mahrez. We had Mahrez in the squad for a long time, so we were tossing up between him, Saka and Mahrez. Nice. Next question in the chat. I mean, it's very difficult to say. I think Mahrez, he's such a great player when he plays, but there's a slight risk of rotation. Julian Alvarez came on for him in the Community Shield, kind of played in that spot. So we'll have to see what happens. I think for now, we've played it safe, gone with a more popular option in Saka. I think just the reasoning behind it is if Saka scores, it really does hurt you because that effective ownership is so much higher than Mahrez. If you don't have Saka on the team and he scores, it hurts the rank, whereas you don't have Mahrez in the team. He's got a 5% ownership. If he gets himself a goal or an assist, it's not going to change your rank excessively. That's the reasoning with that. So, for now, let's lock in this transfer. Trippier against Nottingham Forest at home. Obviously, it's not Reece James, but he's a decently attacking fullback, and he's got a good fixture. I'm not sure how Forest are going to go first year up in the Premier League. A lot of people do have them to survive, but I think it could be a bit closer with them getting relegated because their squad's not great. Obviously, Jesse Lingard's a good pickup, but we'll have to see how that Newcastle defence gets on. And he does have that potential of being rotated. Game week 3, we can always switch over to Patterson in that time. Nottingham Forest at home. And I do think Patterson is probably the best 4.0 right now. Lampard was asked about the fitness of Seamus Coleman, and he said he's probably not going to be ready for game week 1. And obviously Patterson's going to be in an Everton defence, which obviously in its own right is not great, but is probably better than Nottingham Forest in the case of Nico Williams. And since Williams' ownership is so high, if he gets a couple of 2-pointers, 1-pointer, maybe a 0-pointer in the first 4 to 5 weeks, there is the potential that a lot of managers do move him out and he decreases in price. So you really want to protect yourself from Nico Williams going down to 3.9, 3.8, and I think Patterson's ownership is fairly low, 3.3%. You'd doubt that his price would go down if of managers sold him. Harry, I've gone Ward, Cancelo, Reece James, Darlow, Trent, Vestergaard, Son, Silla, Bailey, Kane, Jesus. Darlow's an interesting pick at 4.5 as well. Vestergaard, I'd probably switch up the 4.0 player there. I'd either go Williams or Patterson. I'd probably lean towards Patterson. If I had to pick one, I think he'd provide a bit more for you at that price. Otherwise, you get a very solid team. Mark, you really rate your team. What's your thoughts on the Walker Trippier debate? I mean, I'll have a look at City's percentage chances of starting their players. Last time I checked, I think Kyle Walker had like a 62% chance to start. I mean, we have seen centre backs such as Ake and Stones play out in that fullback position over Kyle Walker. And Kyle Walker's actually not that attacking for a fullback for Man City, to be fair. So yeah, he currently still has a 60% chance to start. Yeah, so it looks like Fix predict that City defence to be Walker, Stones, Diaz, Cancelo. Obviously with the absence of Laporte right now. It's just whether Ake decides to play in a fullback role over Kyle Walker or not. We'll have to see what Pep does, but there's a little bit of doubt there. He's good for the clean sheets, but I think he will be rotated a bit. He generally is. And he offers a little bit less attacking potential than people think. I believe he only had like a 0.01 XG per 90 last season and like a 0.06 XA per 90 or something. I really don't rate the Arsenal triple up. I feel like it's a massive risk. A lot of these players, they've got a very high ownership. A lot of managers are going for them, and I think all three of them are very good assets in their own right. Saka, Jesus, Martinelli, all three of them had a great preseason. Jesus, obviously 75% ownership. There's no way we're not going without him. And Bukayo Saka, he's a player as well, and he could be on penalties because he was on some penalties in preseason. Scored them, so that's good to see. And Martinelli at £6 million, I think he's such a nice player at that price. I could go Neto at 5.5 to free up the extra funds to go up to Reece James in defence instead of Trippier, but I'm really not sure about Neto right now. Obviously, being a Wolves fan is there. Without Jimenez, we just don't score many goals. We don't score many goals anyway, and without Jimenez, Neto's not got that striker to provide the ball to. It decreases his assist potential, and Jimenez can help with that link-up play there as well. Harry Hahn looks good for the run of games he has, but Kane is a much safer option. I'm not sure what to do. We've gone with Kane. I've seen a lot of other top FPL managers going with Kane. I was looking at the Elite XI on Fix, which is a bunch of the best FPL managers of all time, and it's really 50-50 between Haaland and Kane. I think Kane, we know what we're expecting. Southampton at home is an excellent fixture. Yes, Chelsea away is not great. Wolves at home is solid. Forest away is very solid. I mean, he's had such a great preseason as well. 5 goals in preseason. He did have, I believe, the second highest XG out of any player last season. Just couldn't quite. Obviously, he had that very non-ideal start to the season with that Man City transfer news. Didn't score many goals to start the year, but finished very strong. And I think that's just a taste of what he can do. And we've seen his goal tallies in previous seasons, like 17 last year, yes, 23 the year before. You know, and he's got 29 goals in a season before as well. So he's obviously got that potential. He had the 4th highest expected assists out of any player, I believe, as well. And top expected assists for forwards. So yeah, his expected stats were actually very good last year. Just couldn't put as many FPL points in the ball. But I think he's a nice pick at 11.5. You know what we're getting. Not going to lie, I think Jesus is going to flop versus Palace. I think I'm going to go for Mateta and Kane up top. Interesting. I mean, obviously it's a big risk, but at the end of the day, going Mateta, I think it's a bit safer going Jesus in the long run, just because maybe he's not going to score the most points game week 1 out of any forward. Crystal Palace away defend fairly decently, but you got to think about these fixtures up ahead as well. Leicester at home, Bournemouth, Fulham, Aston Villa. These are all great matches that you're going to want Jesus in the side for. I mean, with a 76.6% ownership, it's a big risk going without him and going Mateta in. You're going for Raya Ward over Sanchez Ward. Well, yeah, I've seen some, obviously, that Brighton rotation with Ward, but I do like Raya. I think I don't see Brentford getting much of second season syndrome. Like, at the end of the day, they got a solid defense, got a solid team. Not the most ideal first two fixtures, but there's still time for Leicester to sign a new keeper, so I don't want to go Sanchez and Ward expecting Ward to play 5 or 6 or 7 games in a row, because obviously Leicester are going to be looking to get a keeper there. And I think I prefer Raya over Sanchez. I can see what people are saying with the rotation, but I don't know how long we're going to be able to rotate Ward with keepers for. Obviously, he's a good starting option, that's for sure. I prefer Haaland for captaincy in game week 2. I will switch to Kane in game week 3, but most likely we will see. Oh, okay, so you got Haaland right now, you'll switch to Kane. Yeah, I mean, that Bournemouth at home fixture for Man City is tasty. Like, that's going to be abused, that game. Bournemouth side's it's not great this season. Man City at home to Bournemouth is going to be absolute abuse. It could be 5, 6, 7-0. It could be just outrageous. So I can definitely see the temptation to get those Man City assets. And that's why we were looking at Mahrez, and we held on to Mahrez for so long. Like, yep, West Ham away is not the best fixture game week 1, but Bournemouth at home in game week 2 is just insane for their assets. Best 4.5 min after Andreas Pereira is probably De Silva. Could get minutes for Brentford, I'd say. Best bench attacker, we've got Archer. I think he's pretty decent. Stevie G said there's a chance of him getting some minutes in the Premier League this season, which is always promising. 7.5% ownership. Low chance of his price decreasing with that kind of ownership compared to Greenwood, who I can almost guarantee you Greenwood's price will go down because a lot of managers will move him out of the squad. Yeah, and since his ownership's so high, that price is going to go down, I reckon. Otherwise, Plange, I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure how you say it, but for Crystal Palace, he got some pre-season minutes there, so he's probably my second pick for 4.5 forwards. Do I go with Mahrez or Foden? If I had to pick one, I'd go Mahrez for sure. I think he's got a higher chance of playing, and he's got elite underlying stats. So I'd go Mahrez, I think. I've gone double up Leicester goalkeepers. What's your call? Yeah, I mean, I was looking at that as well, because that's a potential way to threat the 0.5. Just as we've said, that transfer window still doesn't close for a while, so there's the potential that Leicester do sign a keeper. I mean, it's not like they're not going to go look out and try and pick up a keeper now. They won't be happy with Iverson and Ward as their keepers. So I just don't want to take that risk of when Leicester get a keeper, then you've got no playing keepers, essentially. You've got to make that goalkeeper transfer. But yeah, I think for now they are, of course, first choice in the short term at least. Mikey Ward's good, confident enough that he's first choice. Wouldn't go the double up. Yeah, I can see that. Fair enough. Iverson or Ward? I'll go Ward. Maybe game week 1, Iverson has a slightly higher chance of playing, but I think across the season, like longer term, I think Ward will get more minutes than Iverson. But for that reason, I think it's good to have like a 4.5 or higher keeper there as well, because it's difficult to predict. I wouldn't be having Ward as the starting keeper, essentially. Start Bailey over Walker for game week 1. Start Bailey over James game week 2. Then start Bailey over Neto game week 3. Sell Bailey game week 4. Thoughts? I mean, as we've said before, it's all about spending the most money as you can on the starting team. So if you're looking to bench Kyle Walker and Reece James and Neto, I think I'd look to spend more money on the starting squad. You can start all of those players, but yeah, as I said before, I'd really look to spend the most money on the starting 11 rather than try and rotate, have £6 million players on the bench. Aston Villa have a better run of fixtures than Newcastle and a better defence than Newcastle. I suggest putting in Matty Cash over Trippier. Anyways, loving the team. Both good picks. I got to give them that. Both at £5 million. Both good picks. Villa, I've got their fixtures here. The first three are very good. Bournemouth, Everton, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace away. Maybe not the easiest from a defensive standpoint, but after that, you're kind of stuck here with a run of 4 fixtures of Matty Cash being unlikely to get clean sheets, should we say. Whereas, I mean, Trippier, Nottingham Forest at home and Brighton away are 2 solid fixtures from a defensive standpoint. Man City at home, be happy to bench him there if you had to. Wolves away, game week 4, you can definitely play him there. That Wolves attack's not great, is it? And Liverpool away, you'd be happy to bench him there, and then Crystal Palace at home's nice. So yes, there's 2 fixtures there we should bench him for. But I think as a whole over the first 6, you'd be starting him more times than you would Cash. You probably start Trippier 4 times compared to Cash 3 times. That's just how I see it. And then Patterson does have that fixture. If he hopefully has that starting spot by game week 3, hopefully he keeps Seamus Coleman out of the side. Maybe he can feature against Forest at home. And then, yeah, of course, there's going to be an early wild card. You'd think around game week 5, game week 6, use that first wild card. Get a very aggressive. Ramsdale plus Neto, Araya plus Martinelli, already owns Saka. It's tough pick. I think I'd go Raya and Martinelli. I understand that the triple Arsenal attack can be a bit off-putting to some people, but I like it. I think Arsenal have an elite first 5 fixtures, if not the best first 5. 2 promoted sides in their first 5. I mean, Leicester at home is a great fixture. Bournemouth away is a great fixture. I go Martinelli. I think Martinelli will significantly outscore Neto. That's my prediction. Best 5 mil defender to go for. Probably Trippier, Cash, and maybe Kyle Walker for the clean sheets if you hope that he plays and you go Kyle Walker at 5. When's deadline? It should be in an hour and like 13 minutes, roughly, I believe. It's like 3:30 a.m. our time, which is AEST. I'm not sure what that is in Europe. I'm guessing most people watching from Europe. Nico Williams and 0.5 in the bank or a 4.5 defender. I honestly wouldn't mind the 0.5 in the bank. It gives you a little bit of extra flexibility. Or you can spend the 0.5 around the starting squad as well. No Kyle Walker is interesting. He's guaranteed to get points. Personally, I think you should go put him in over Bailey. I mean, you put him over Trippier, I guess, if anyone. But I guess I can see the temptation with him. I just don't want to risk that rotation because the bench depth. I mean, Trippier is there. If we go Kyle Walker there at 5 million, he gets rotated. We're going to have to rely on Andreas and Patterson, which is not ideal, especially to start the season. Mahrez v Mount, who to pick? I mean, I like Mahrez a bit more. You just hope that Mahrez plays because he has such elite stats when he plays. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'll look at Mahrez. According to Fix, he does have a 97% chance to start game week 1. Like, he's not got much competition in right wing right now. Like, it's Foden and Grealish on the other side, and he's just by himself on the right wing as far as the starting spots go, and that's why he's got such a high percentage chance of starting. I'll just pull up some stats for him. Last season, he was very, very good last season. But yeah, I can see why a lot of people look to go to Mahrez because he's a nice differential, 5% ownership, And for that Bournemouth at home fixture, I guess a lot of managers will want that Man City attacker, and he's a great cheap way into that Man City defense. Man City attack. Start Edison or Ward. I'd probably start Edison. Man City defense is very, very solid. Martinelli over Neto. Yeah, I really like Martinelli, and I mean, even being a Wolves fan, I'm not going to try and hype up Neto that much because, with that Jimenez, I think his attacking output may be decreased. Pep always makes things difficult. Yeah, 100%. Mount for Saka this week. I like Saka a lot. He could potentially be on pens for Arsenal, which is a solid pre-season. Mahrez or Kulusevski? I think I prefer Mahrez to Kulusevski, to be honest. Kyle Walker's guaranteed to start since Cucurella joined Chelsea. They have not signed a replacement for Zinchenko. He has no competition and is one of the best defences in the world. Easy points. I can see a lot of managers putting him in for that reason, that's for sure. But of course, we have seen Stones or Ake play and that position occasionally. Bailey and Reece James with the Leicester keepers, or Neto and a 5 million defender, and then used the extra 0.5 to upgrade Iverson to Sanchez. As we said, I think I'd be a strong fan of if I wouldn't go double Leicester 4.0 keepers. I think it's a big risk. Okay, here we are. So Mahrez, so filtered by per 90 stats. XG per 90, Mahrez third highest last season. Expected FPL points per 90, Mahrez second highest last season. FPL points per 90, Mahrez second highest last season, only behind Salah. Goals per 90, Mahrez fourth highest last season, behind Vardy, Salah and Son. Assists, 12th highest per 90. But yeah, the XG and XA, he averaged over a score involvement per game, which is very impressive. Per 90, he averaged over one score involvement, and yeah, the expected FPL points second highest, FPL points highest, so FPL points second highest as well, which is outrageous. So it's no secret that Mahrez's underlying stats are insane. You just got to hope that he can play the majority of games. Saka and Neto or Martinelli and Mount. Gee, that's tough. I think Saka and Neto. Ramsdale, Reece James. I guess you trust the cash, or Mendy, Zinchenko and Sancho. I'd go Ramsdale, Reece James and cash. How come you switched Mahrez and Doherty out? Well, there's so much doubt around those Spurs starting defenders, especially coming into game week 1. So I think especially for the first week of the season, it'd suck to see those team sheets released and then Doherty's not there. And I'm relying on Andreas Pereira against Liverpool at home for the first week of the season. And then Mahrez, I think he's a great pick. I don't get me wrong, I think he's a great pick, but we've learnt from in the past that you want to go for the template team in game week 1 and then look to differentiate the team a bit later on, but play it a bit safer. Go for Saka. He's a very high-end player, 22%. I think if we have Mahrez and Saka scores, will be in the bin. The rank will be in the bin. That's really the only reason, to be honest. And there's potential that Saka's on pens. But at the same time, Mahrez could also be on pens for Man City, because Mahrez was on pens when De Bruyne was on the pitch, so surely that means Mahrez is on pens when Haaland's on the pitch. We'll have to see, actually. Perisic versus Trippier. I think there's too much doubt about Perisic's starting spot right now. So for that reason, Trippier, and that's why we have gone Trippier. That was the debate we were making. Is Doherty a good shout for game week 1? Too uncertain, I think, for the starting spot. Yeah, Mike, you've said it well, mate. Too many uncertainties with the Spurs fullbacks. Wonder why people go Diaz over Robbo. I mean, probably because he's $1 million cheaper. Robertson's a nice pick. I mean, what's his ownership? 12.9%. Still fairly low compared to some of the other premium lads. I think he's a great pick. He looked really good in the Community Shield. Watching that game, he was getting far forward, making some nice runs into the box. Had the header chance, got an assist. I mean, yeah, he's not even featuring as one of the highest owned defenders, but I think he's a nice option. I mean, personally, I think he'll outscore Reece James this season. I think he's really, really nice. Cash or Trippier? We also have to make that decision. We've gone Trippier just because over the first 6, you can probably play him in 4. Raya or Ramsdale. It depends what you want to do with the rest of the squad, I think. If that £0.5 million that you've got tied up in Ramsdale could be used better elsewhere in the squad, like upgrading a Neto to a Martinelli or someone, then I'd go for Raya. It just depends how the rest of your squad's looking. Also, triple Arsenal attack, I believe, is becoming fairly popular. So maybe you can go for a 4.5. A lot of people were going for Edison at 5.5, going for more expensive keepers, but it seems closer to the deadline, a lot of managers have opted for the cheaper, the 4.0, 4.5 keepers a bit more frequently. And try and spend more money on the outfield players, which is generally where the points lie. But that's the thing right now. We do have 0.5 in the bank. I'm not sure where we'd spend the extra 0.5. Maybe upgrade the keeper to a 5.0, but we can't get Ramsdale because we've got triple Arsenal already. The only thing I can think of is we take a big risk, Saka out and Mahrez in. But, I mean, it is going against the template, so if Saka scores, then we could be in trouble. And then the extra 0.5 million we can probably go Ramsdale in because he's not... We've got a good enough squad there. Lots of decisions to make, though. We'll see how this team looks. This is the fixture that, I mean, Bournemouth at home, game week 2 is nice. Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest at home is game week 4 and 5 as well. 3 out of the first 5 weeks. I mean, if we're going for an early wildcard, game week 5, game week 6 wildcard, we can hope Mahrez starts like 4. Surely Mahrez starts 4 out of the first 5 games. Surely, at least 4 out of the first 5. Thoughts on Jared Bowen? I'm not sure at 8.5 million. I don't think West Ham's fixtures are good enough to start the season. I think there's a lot of really good £8 million options. Saka's there. Of course, Diaz is there. Mahrez is there. I think I just prefer them compared to Jared Bowen. Kane or Haaland? That is the question. Actually, I want to see what you guys have. Leave a comment if you got Kane or Haaland, because it's very 50-50 right now. We've gone with Kane. Bit safer pick. You know what you're getting with Kane. A little bit more differential, mix it up. It's always nice. But I think Southampton at home, game week 1. Excellent fixture for Harry Kane. And if a whole bunch of managers all of a sudden decide to bring Haaland in game week 2, we have the option to go there. But I think, yeah, Kane's a bit safer, and you know what you're expecting from him. He had good underlying stats last season. So that's why I've gone with him. And he's, of course, had a very good preseason there as well. Is it okay if I only have Jesus or Tony up top? I mean, I'd strongly encourage either Kane or Haaland as the second striker, that's for sure. I think Tony's not bad at 7. But, I mean, I guess you'd have like Son in the midfield unless you're playing one premium. But I would definitely look to have at least one of Kane or Haaland. Neto or Bailey. I actually think Bailey could be better. I'm not going to lie. £500,000 cheaper. He's got a good first 3 fixtures. Very good pre-season. 3 goals and 2 assists. I believe that was actually exactly the same as Pedro Neto. He got 3 goals and 2 assists for Wolves in pre-season there as well. New FPL tweet 1 hour to the deadline. Has everyone locked in their teams, or are they still tinkering? Because I want to know if everyone's getting what I do. Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, to be honest, I'm still undecided whether to go for Mahrez or Saka. We mix it up, go with Mahrez, take the risk of the differential. He's had very high points potential in game week 2 against Bournemouth at home. Or, do we just play it safe, go Saka, triple Arsenal attack? Will Perisic play? I mean, we've seen a couple of predicted Spurs lineups come out on Twitter, and they've actually got Sessegnon starting over Perisic, which is interesting to see. So I think, the risk right now is slightly too high. Slightly too high with Perisic and Doherty, who have great picks. Like when they're looking a bit more now, they've come back to full fitness. I think they will be great picks, that's for sure. So I've gone with Kane, not convinced by the Community Shield performance. I mean, I think people are being very harsh, especially on Nunez and Haaland, just considering one performance or just throughout pre-season. I think you have to judge them when they play in the Premier League. But I wouldn't be judging Haaland too harshly off to just that one performance. The thing is, he'll get into good positions and he will score goals. He'll score lots of close range tap-ins because his teammates will create lots of chances for him. And I think that's the same with Darwin Núñez. They're both going to have very good XGs because their teams will create lots of chances for them, which is important. Bamford is a punt. That's differential. I haven't seen too much Patrick Bamford action. With 2 million, who should I upgrade between Bailey, Neto, and Archer? Probably not Archer, either Bailey or Neto. Probably Neto because you get up to 7.5, so you can go anyone there. And maybe you can try and throw up an extra 0.5 to get to one of those 8 million midfielders. Which pair? Neto and Sancho or Kulusevski and Bailey? Maybe Kulusevski and Bailey. Kulusevski looked very promising last season, a bit better than Sancho last season, Kulusevski, and I think Bailey might actually outscore Neto in the first 5 weeks. What do you think about Rodrigo from Leeds? I'm not too sure. I think there is better options out there. Looks solid in pre-season. I mean, Leeds were actually playing in Australia, so we're able to watch most of the Leeds pre-season at a good time. They were looking alright, but I think there is better options. Just to confirm, it's a prediction from Paul O'Keefe. However, he's still very reliable, so I'd agree with Perisic not starting. Same for Doherty. Yeah. I mean, that is the tweet we were talking about. That was a tweet in question. Regardless, there is obviously that there anyway. I think even if he does play, he will come off very, very soon. Violet. My starting lineup is Ward, Trent, Cancelo, Reece James, and Zinchenko. Very premier at the back. I like it. Double Chelsea defense. I'm not totally convinced on, but we move Salah, Diaz, Bowen, Tony, Jesus. So it's a single premium team. Interesting. I haven't seen too many single premium teams. Mostly double, sometimes triple. Very, very rarely single. It's interesting. I'd even go Robertson in that premium defense, maybe instead of Chilwell, especially with the signing of Cucurella. There may be some rotation action there. Who's on the bench though? It's kind of hard to get the full thing in, but Ward's the sub goalkeeper. Andreas Patterson's are 4.0 and Archer's are 4.5. I think these players are the best at their prices, to be honest, considering their ownerships. I think they're the safest options not to decrease in price, especially Patterson and Archer I'm mainly talking about. Odegaard and Martinelli. I think Martinelli is a way better option. $500,000 cheaper. Obviously, Saka took pens in pre-season, but Martinelli has taken pens in the past. I mean, Martinelli, I think he had like 5 assists in pre-season. Do you think Foden will start? No, I would say with confidence, no. Saka or Martinelli? Saka's probably a better pick than Martinelli, regardless of price. If price does not matter to you, then I'd go Saka. But Martinelli at $6 million is very good value. I think he's a bit better value than Saka. See, they've updated that Spurs lineup on Fix. I don't think that has been updated yet. Okay, so according to Fix before, yeah. So I don't think that's the case anymore. They did have Perisic at 98% and Doherty at 90%. But I think that is before the information about the fitness. So I would definitely not be relying on that. But otherwise, yeah, everyone else you'd expect to be in that Spurs lineup's playing. Why Saka over Martinelli? Well, Saka was on penalties first of all in pre-season, which is awesome. I think Saka's got a bit more goal potential than Martinelli. Martinelli's more of an assister. I've got 1.5 left with De Gea, Cancelo, Trent, Robert, James, Salah, Neto. So Maximan, Martinelli, Aronson. Jesus. And got Alvarez, Eduardo. Okay. I'd probably upgrade Alvarez. I doubt he will start. Spend that money to upgrade Alvarez for sure. I think he's like 6.5, so you can get an 8 mil. I mean... And Ake, yeah, you can downgrade Ake to a 4.5. Downgrade. How many forwards you got there? Oh yeah, I'd get rid of Alvarez. I spend them 1.5 to upgrade Alvarez. Is it okay going with Robertson instead of Trent so that I can have Raya Sanchez over the Leicester duo? Probably not ideal. I'd just go a 4.5 keeper and a 4.0 keeper. I wouldn't go rotating 4.5s. I'd have Trent over Robbo and go a 4.5 and then a 4.0 rotating goalkeeper. Richard, what do you think of my team? Ramsdale, Trent, Reece James, Cancelo, Dyer. And there you get that Spurs defense. Interesting. Mason Mount, Salah, Neto, Wissa. Differential pick. I like it. Martinelli. And Haaland as a sole striker. Bench, Ward, Archer, Chilwell on the bench. Interesting. I think, as I've said to a couple other people, I'd be spending as much money as I can on the starting 11. I wouldn't be benching Chilwell. I'd start Chilwell over Wissa and maybe downgrade Wissa to a 4.5. What's the forward line? Yeah, and then maybe you can upgrade with, once you've downgraded Wissa to a 4.5, you can upgrade Undav. How's Sterling and Zinchenko on FPL team? Sterling's an interesting one. He's a premium that I've seen a couple of people go for. Not overly interested in him though. 10 million. I'd like to see him slot in, kind of suit into that Chelsea life a bit more before I put him in the side at that price. But yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure about Sterling just yet. Zinchenko, I don't mind him at 5.0 actually. I think he's a decent pick. I think he's a decent asset. Jack, do you think Foden will start? No, I don't think he will start. I think Grealish, Haaland, Mahrez will be the front three, and then pretty much De Bruyne playing as a second striker. Like at times, it's incredible the positions that De Bruyne gets in. Thoughts on Aronson, maybe over Neto? I'd steer clear of Aronson. I think Neto, it's a bit of a safer pick. in terms of you know what you're going to get from a bit more. He's had a good preseason. Neto, 3 goals, 2 assists. Ward or Iverson in use? I go Ward if I had to pick one. Trossard or Neto? Tough, but I'd probably go Neto. Trossard could be a nice differential though. He actually got a hat-trick in his most recent preseason game. So he's not even bad. I believe he's 6. Let me double check. Trossard 6.5. He's getting up there. Difficult first 3. But you could look at him game week 4 onwards, that's for sure. Leeds at home, Fulham away. Leicester at home, Bournemouth away. It's a decent batch of 4 fixtures. You could maybe look at him then. But yeah, not a bad pick at 6.5, 141 points last year. Jack, thoughts on my team? Sanchez, Trent, Robbo, Cancelo, Trippier. Same defence as us. Nice. Salah, Foden, Martinelli, Bailey. Pretty much same midfielder as us, except Foden. Jesus, Kane. So pretty much exactly the same team as us, except for Foden. I mean, yeah, as we said, I don't think Foden's going to play. I think the front 3 is going to be Grealish, Haaland, and Mahrez, and then De Bruyne. So, I don't think Foden will play, personally. So, maybe switch to another Man City player. Which brings me to the next comment. Who will take pens for Man City? I think it's between Mahrez and I don't know if Haaland's going to be on penalty duties or not. But probably between Mahrez and Haaland. As we said before, Mahrez literally took penalties when Kevin De Bruyne was on the pitch and Mahrez still takes them. So, I mean, if he's taking them when Mahrez is on the pitch, there's not much difference between De Bruyne and Haaland, is there? So there is potential that Mahrez stays on them. Swap Tony for Alvarez, but Ake I might keep because Laporte is still out until August and Ake can play left back, so if Cancelo is injured, he can recover. It's interesting take, but I think Stones is also there as well, and Kyle Walker's there as well, so Ake will definitely get rotated a lot. Mings or Darlow? Darlow, I think, offers a bit more attacking potential. If I was going to go for a Villa defender, I'd probably go Cash or Dean. I'd say Rashford and Diaz versus Mount and Bailey and Nico Williams. Probably go Rashford and Diaz. I think is a much better combination between that Mount and Bailey. Rashford or Coutinho? Probably Rashford. Save a little bit of money. Coutinho doesn't have the best underlying stats. Do you think 3 million with Kane and Haaland is worth it? I mean, I'm a fan of the idea. It does take a lot out of the team, which is unfortunate. Yeah, it does take a lot out of the rest of the team, and I think with a lot of the five playing defenders, 4 premium defenders, 5 premium defender drafts, I think you could potentially suffer because obviously you can't have as many premium defenders. I think 2 premiums is a very good balance. It gives you enough flexibility around the squad. Mahrez and KDB for pens, you reckon? Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, I think Mahrez is probably more likely than KDB. Would you rather have Grealish and Undav or Bailey and Jesus? Probably Bailey and Jesus. I think Jesus is a great pick. I mean, yeah, 0.5. If we have the 0.5 in the bank, then we might as well spend it on Ramsdale, right? But I don't want to, at the same time, I don't want to block my spot if I want to go to Saka. That's something I do need to consider as well. I don't want to block the spot for Arsenal by going Ramsdale and goals. If I need to get to Saka from Mahrez desperately, if he starts getting rotated, I want to leave my options open. So maybe that's the way I go. It could be a bit smarter. Think about it a bit more long term. Thanks, man. My first year taking FPL serious is 0.5 in the bank. Sensible. Well, yeah, I think that's what we're going to have in the bank as well, to be honest. So I think that's fine, yeah. Thoughts on this team? Ward, Iverson. Interesting combo. Gabriel, Robertson, Trent, Nico Cancelo. Okay, good back four. Martinelli, Bailey, Salah, Andres Pereira, Neto, Jesus, Havertz, Kane. I'm not a massive fan of Havertz personally. And also I like the 4-4-2 formation, but I can see what you're going for with Havertz. I mean, personally, I'd spend the money on a midfielder, on an upgraded midfielder, or you can even, upgrade a keeper, because the double 4.0 Leicester keepers could be a little bit risky. That'd be the only thing I say. But otherwise, fairly solid team. Raya, Robbo, Walker, Cancelo, train at any 4.5. Martinelli, Salah, Bailey, Haaland, Kane, or I go team 2. I go team 2, but maybe for Kyle Walker, you could go Trippier at 5 million. Like, obviously, if you think Kyle Walker's going to start the majority of games, then by all means, go for him. Mount or Saka? I think Saka's a much better option than Mount. The fact that he's potentially on penalties, looked excellent in pre-season, great starting fixtures, high ownership, chuck Saka in the team. Great player. Definitely a great player. And I think, I'm still tossing up between Mahrez and Saka. I don't know what to do. It's just Mahrez looks too good. Mahrez is too good. His underlying stats are too good. I know it's a bit risky. I'm going to be holding my breath watching that Arsenal game, hoping that Saka doesn't do anything. But we'll have to see. Why did you go for Mahrez? Because he's got such a high chance of playing for Man City, I think, especially in the first 4 or 5 weeks. Against West Ham, he's got a 97% chance to start, which is incredible. Only player I can see taking his spot is Julian Alvarez, but I think Mahrez should start the majority of games just because Alvarez is getting adjusted to the side and whatnot. And I really like Bournemouth at home in game week 2. I'm just going to hope Saka doesn't do me dirty in game week 1. Mahrez can match him for points game week 1 and then go crazy game week 2 onwards, because game week 2, Bournemouth at home, Newcastle away, Crystal Palace at home, and Forest at home. That's really nice. And but we've still got that Arsenal spot free, and we've got the money in the bank. We can easily go to Saka. Even if Saka's price goes up to 8.1, we can still bring Saka into the side if we need to. So I think I'm willing to take that risk. The team's solid enough, it's template enough. We can have that one differential there in the squad in Mahrez and hope it goes well for us. Lamptey or Dunk maybe. I'm not sure about the Brighton defence. Obviously they've lost Cucurella, who's a big part of that defence, and also Basuma as well offers very good defensive cover for them. So I think Brighton will see a decrease in clean sheets this season. Personally, I don't think the defence will be as strong, so I'd steer a little bit clear of that defence. What do you think of Mahrez as a bit of a differential? Yeah, I said before, I think Mahrez is a great differential. That's for sure. Saka pens, yes, potentially between him and Martinelli. Mings or Darlow. St. Maximin versus Rashford. I go Rashford. Tough pick though, yes, but I go Rashford. Podence or Neto. What overall rank? We got around 90k last season. Had a really rough start to last season. Didn't have Fernandes in game week 1, who got 20 points, which really set us off on the wrong foot. But then we were able to fight our way back to 90k. But of course, pushing even higher this year, top 50k, top 10k. That's the goal. Push it as high as possible. Who to ban from Martinelli, Neto, and Bailey? Oof. I wouldn't really want to bench anyone, to be honest. I think all 3 of them are great starting options. So if you can, I'd start off 3 and bench someone else, because it's all about, as I said before, spend as much money as you can on that starting team. You've got an extra wildcard this year because of World Cup. You can wildcard Game Week 5, 6. I think that's what a lot of pros are going to be doing. So stack those teams for Game Week 1, guys. Make sure that starting 11 is as strong as possible. Who is better, Trippier and have 1 mil, or Nico Williams and have 2 mil? Trippier and have 1 mil in the bank. I think with 1 million in the bank, you can probably spend at least an extra 0.5 on that squad. I think 1 mil in the bank is quite a lot. And yeah, as we've touched on, go a bit more aggressive to start the season. Trippier and Rashford, or Diaz and Bailey. Diaz a Perisic placeholder. Yeah, for that reason I go Diaz and Bailey. Trent and Robbo, or Trent and Cancelo. I'd probably increase the range of defenses if you're going Trent and Cancelo. Although Robbo's a very, very nice pick. If you can somehow fit all 3 into the side, brilliant. But if I had to pick 2, I'd go Trent and Cancelo. Who's better? Yeah, we've already answered that. Perfect. So yeah, that's most questions gone. 40 minutes until deadline. Who is the best non-Arsenal 5 million defender? I mean, Trippier is pretty solid at 5. That's why we've got him in the team. Otherwise, if Kyle Walker can play most games, then he's really good at 5. Doherty would have been good at 5, but it looks like he's not starting for Game Week 1, unfortunately. We'll check. For defenders, projected points in the first 6 weeks: Trent, Robertson, Reece James, Cancelo, Van Dijk, Diaz, Chilwell. Nori at 4.5 is the highest predicted point scorer of any £5 million player or less. Interesting, Gabriel's there. But I'll probably say Trippier, I think. He offers really good attacking potential. He's on those set pieces, corners. He's very nice. Thoughts on Mitrovic? Interesting option. I think I'd steer clear for now. I think Fulham have got very tough fixtures to start the season. And with there's a lot of other solid forward options this year with Jesus, Kane, Haaland. I think I'd be prioritising those guys on the side. Robertson or Cancelo? You have Walker already. I mean, I'd assume you have Trent already as well, so I'd probably go Cancelo. But yeah, if you can, try and get Trent, Robertson and Cancelo. Cucurella, Trippier. Definitely Trippier. I think now that Cucurella's at Chelsea, he's not going to get many starting minutes. If anything, he'll be rotating with one of their defenders, whether it be Shaw or Reece James. So yeah, I'd go Trippier. Cucurella now, yeah, that he's gone to Chelsea, it's a bit annoying because he would have been decent. Would have been excellent at Man City. If he went to Man City, I think he'd pretty much just to be in about everyone's teams. Dewsbury Hall over Neto. I think I'd go Neto. Dewsbury Hall didn't get the most attacking returns last season. He plays every game, which is good, but he's not getting that far forward. I'm happy with his team right now. 0.5 in the bank's fine. We've got that third Arsenal slot free. We can always go to Saka if we need to. I don't think I go Ramsdale on goals over Raya. Just to have that extra flexibility, keep the Arsenal slot open. I'm happy with Trippier there. Robertson's a great option as well. I really like Robertson in the side. I was looking at some of Robertson's stats last season. They were very, very impressive. Get those load up. I have Edison, Trent, Robertson, Cancelo, Martinelli, Salah, Bailey, Aronson, Haaland, Jesus, Bamford. Interesting going for 4-3-3. 3 at the back. I'd look to go at least 4 at the back, to be honest. Maybe downgrade Bamford to a 4.5. I can see the appeal with Bamford. He's not a bad option, that's for sure. But I'd probably downgrade Bamford to a 4.5 and then get another starting defender. I think defenders are the way this season. You can probably afford Reece James in that defence. So you can maybe go Reece James as a 4th starting defender, and then I downgrade Bamford to a 4.5. Is probably what I'd do. I think Bamford's even still overpriced. He got himself a goal in pre-season. 7.5 million. He was very good in his first season in the Prem. 17 goals, 11 assists. That's what he can do. Now there's no Rafinha in that attack, though. I mean, it's taken a lot out of that attack, which is unfortunate for Leeds. I think Bamford will suffer a bit from not having that man there to give assists to, get service from. Well, we'll see as time goes. I mean, when Leeds come into good fixtures, we could see them gel a bit better. But I think Leeds will struggle this year without Calvin Phillips and Rafinha, arguably their 2 best players. And the signings have been decent. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that team gels, because it's been like 5 or 6 new signings to the squad. So it's going to be a lot of switch up for Leeds. Personally, I think Leeds will struggle to stay in the Prem. They'll be towards the bottom, fighting for relegation. $7.66 million players. That is increasing by so much at the minute. Like, imagine we get up to 8 million players before the game week starts. It'd be crazy. Best 5 million defender, probably Trippier or Cash or Walker. Those would be my top 3. Walker, if you're feeling a bit risky and you're fancying him to start for Man City, he's going to be, if he starts for Man City, then he is definitely the best 5 million defender, that's for sure. Because even though he's not the most attacking fullback, the fact that he can lock in those clean sheets is important. Very, very helpful. Do you have 0.5 in the bank? Yeah, we do. Gabriel Zinchenko. Very interesting, actually, because Gabriel gets a lot of goals for a defender. So that's how Gabriel stats. I think he had like 4 goals last season. 5 goals last season, which is incredible. Feels that by all defenders. We feel that by defenders there. Tied most goals for defenders, Gabriel, which is pretty impressive from him. I mean, Zinchenko's nice because I think he's going to be very attacking, but Gabriel, he gets the corner headers. Both very good picks, I'd have to say. But maybe Zinchenko, because I think, across the season he'll be a bit more attacking. But yeah, Gabriel gets himself a lot of goals for a centre-back, that's for sure. Don't you prefer Ramsdale over Yes, we do. With the extra 0.5, we could go Raya to Ramsdale, but the reason we've done this is we wanted to keep that third Arsenal slot open in case we want to go from Mahrez to Saka. If Mahrez is getting rotated or he's just not getting any minutes like we'd expect him to, then obviously if I get Ramsdale in, it kind of blocks that third Arsenal slot. So that's why we've done that. That's the main reason, to be honest. Just have a little bit more flexibility, because Mahrez is a risky pick. Despite him being fairly now for game week 1, he is a bit of a risky pick, so I just want to give myself as much ability to switch if I need to. Ward or Iverson, I'd probably go Ward. Saka, Almiron, or Martinelli, Grealish / Bernardo Silva. I'd go. Can you go Saka and Martinelli as the 2? Which 2 should I start among Bailey, Cash, and Neto? All have decent ownership. Yes. Probably Bailey and Cash if I had to start 2. Yeah, probably Bailey and Cash have had to start too, actually. Trippier and Reece James or Williams and Robertson. I think Trippier and Reece James is better. Have two very nice attacking fullbacks there. Is Patterson out? I think for game week 1 he is, yeah, because Lampard said in his press conference that Seamus Coleman was still coming back from that injury, still recovering from his injury, which is interesting to see. Some good Everton team use there ahead of time. I think Patterson will be starting. And last season, Patterson was expected to get minutes over Seamus Coleman, but yeah, after Frank Lampard made those comments, I have very good confidence that Patterson will start at least the first game, if not first 2 or 3, which is good. And yeah, I think the other reason why I've gone with Patterson, there could be a decrease in price of Williams if he gets a couple of 2-pointers, 1-pointer. Managers don't like his returns and move him on. Whereas Patterson, 3.3% ownership. If he can play in game week 3, Nottingham Forest at home, if he gets a clean sheet there, people see a 4.0 defender getting himself a clean sheet, his ownership could rise, which is helpful. Trippier, Zinchenko, Cash, Romero. If I had to pick one, probably... actually, I forgot about Zinchenko at 5. Man. Probably Trippier, Zinchenko. I like. You can't go with Saka and Martinelli. Well, and probably Saka and Grealish would be my 2. Ramsdale, Kulu, or Saka and Trippier. Probably Saka and Trippier. Son, KDB. Oh, that is such a difficult pick. I mean, I really like KDB. His attacking positioning is excellent throughout pre-season. The Man City attack is looking ruthless this year, and I think KDB is pretty nailed. Like when he's fit, he's pretty nailed for Man City. He'll play the majority of games. Interesting comment big win slots has made. Bernardo nailed in CM. Yes, that was the case. I think that's a lot of what happened with FPL managers last year. Everyone was going Bernardo because he was playing every game. And yes, he was getting goals for a period, but then he went through a long period of not getting any attacking returns whatsoever while still playing. I think he even when he does play, he's not getting involved in that Man City attack, so I'd steer clear of him. Because even when he does play, he's not getting that involved in the Man City. He's not getting any goals or assists, which is important. I think Grealish does have a higher chance of getting those goals and assists. I wouldn't get too sucked in with Bernardo's playing minutes. Walker or Trippier, both are good picks, but it just depends if you have the courage to risk that Walker rotation, because I think if he starts, then Walker will be a better pick, so you can go with Walker. Personally, I've just, especially since we've got Mahrez in the side, wanted to play it safe. Don't want to go triple Man City, play the Pep roulette with Mahrez and Walker. Would you sacrifice Saka penalties for Martinelli in order to get Bernardo? I wouldn't be going out of my way to get Bernardo in the side, I'll say that. Is Darlow nailed? Yeah, I believe he's pretty nailed. I'll check his predicted chance of starting against Brighton. 60% percentage chance of starting, so he is expected to play. So yeah, I would expect Darlow to play. I think he's not a bad pick, that's for sure. United's fixtures aren't the worst. They're not the worst, but it's just whether they get the clean sheets. Their defense can be a bit wibbly at some points in time. Sorry, Ramsdale and Kulusevski or Saka and Mendy. I prefer Saka over Kulusevski, but I think Chelsea's defense could be a bit dodgy at times. already have Martinelli and Jesus. So maybe Ramsdale and Kulusevski. Just because I'm not a massive fan of Mendy. Mounts of Reece James in a 4-4-2, 100%. I prefer Reece James over Mason Mount. He's got the double chance of returns. Attacking fullback, I like it. Kane or Haaland, we've gone with Kane. You can see here, Kane's definitely the safer pick, that's for sure. Best 5.0 defender. It's probably Trippier is nice at 5. Kyle Walker's nice at 5. Zinchenko's also nice at 5. That's to be my 3 and Cash as well. But yeah, I forgot about Zinchenko before. I think he's a great 5.0 defender. Mount or Saka? I'd go Saka. Go for Kane captain. Oof. We'll have to see. He is actually projected to score, I think, the most points by Fantasy Football Hub. I think they had him to score the most points. Like 6.9 in game week 1, and Salah was like 6.4, I believe. Which is interesting, but Salah's effective ownership, so the number of people that captain him and have him starting extremely high, obviously. I think it's like 180%. And Saka scored, so Salah scored in every single game week 1 fixture, so I gotta respect the risk going for a differential captain that's not Salah, because he's so elite in game week 1. I'd be so scared about my rank if I didn't have Salah captain for game week 1, that's for sure. Can you rate my team? Of course, bro. Martinez, Trent, Cancelo, Trippier, Cash, Zinchenko, Salah, Son, Rashford, Bailey, Haaland. Oof, triple premium. I like it. Captain Son. I'd captain Salah. I'd have Salah captain, but I like the triple premium. Apart from Diaz, who's the best 8.0 midfielder? It'd probably be Saka or Mahrez as the other two. I think those are my top 3. Diaz, Saka, Mahrez. That'd be my top 3. Arsenal triple up in attack. It's viable. We did have Saka in the team instead of Mahrez, but I've had Mahrez all pre-season. I've been hyping him up in the videos. I've been saying how good he is, talking about his elite underlying stats. I feel like I'm a bit of a clown if I go now and just, let's go against him, go with a template. I gotta believe Mahrez can get me the points. Why Trippier? Why not Cash? Just because I think in the first 6 game weeks, I would start Trippier probably 4 out of 6 times. I think Forest, Brighton, Wolves, Crystal Palace. Those would be the 4 games. Whereas Cash, his first 3 fixtures are good, but then he's got like West Ham, Arsenal, Liverpool, or Man City, and then Leicester, I think. So I think Trippier is probably you can start him 4 times in the first 6. Newcastle's defense is much improved this year. Their team's much improved this year. Both very nice attacking fullbacks, though. I'm afraid of Salah's ownership. Yeah, I think Salah's essential. You can't go without Salah, because he will punish your rank if you don't have him in the team. Saka and 2 4.0 goalkeepers, or Martinelli and 5 mil keeper. I mean, if you can go Saka and a 4.5 and a 4.0, that'd be ideal. Otherwise, you can just go Martinelli. You don't necessarily have to splash 5 mil on the keeper. You can go 4.5 and a keeper and save that 0.5. Any last minute advice on the season? Yeah, I think, especially for the start of the season, I would not try and be too knee-jerk with your transfers. I'd really, really look to prioritise the transfers. I wouldn't just go selling a player that have one bad week or jumping on a player that's hauled in game week 1, like some random player that's just gone and got 15 points. We saw it last season with Pogba. Everyone just jumped on Pogba after he got a bunch of assists in the first couple of weeks. And that just did not work out. So I think, really, really save those transfers. Don't be super knee-jerk with your transfers after a player's a big score. Don't try and chase the points too much. And try and reduce those the amount of hits you take early. I think is also key, especially since there's the extra wildcard available. And yeah, this season, be aggressive with the starting teams. Robbo or Diaz? I like Robbo more. We could have gone Diaz in the midfield instead of Mahrez and then dropped Robertson down to a Reece James. But I think Robertson is superb. I think he's a really, really good pick. And yeah, just got the double chance of returns. Liverpool will get a lot of clean sheets. Robbo can chip in with an assist here and there. I mean, if Robertson's getting a clean sheet in most games, that means in order for Diaz to match him in points, he has to score a goal in most games, which is unlikely. My team: Mendy, Trent, Robertson, Reece James, Darlow. Nice defense. Bailey, Sterling, Bruno, Salah, Tony, and Jesus. I'm not a massive fan of Sterling and Bruno. I think I'd prefer Kane or Haaland as a forward premium instead of one of those midfield premiums. But if you back them in, then fair enough. Starting mid, Bailey and 0.5 in the bank on Neto and 0 in the bank. I'd probably go Bailey and 0.5 in the bank. I actually think Bailey's a better pick than Neto, even being a Wolves fan. I'd take Reece James and Martinelli over Saka and Nico Williams. Martinelli's such a great value pick at 6 mil. If you had to pick one between Cash or Bailey for the first 3 games, who would it be? First 3, I think Cash. He's got those good clean sheet potential. And if he gets an assist with one of those clean sheets, that's a 12-pointer for him. My goodness, 3-11, 19 minutes, lads. Is everyone locking their teams? How's everyone's teams looking? Still tossing up who we're going to go for. We've locked in. I have 5.5 in the bank. Bailey or Neto? Bailey. Go Bailey. Please, if you had to pick one between Cash or Bailey. Yeah, I said that. Thank you that I meant specifically on my team. Sorry about that. I'm captaining Kane. Salah has early kickoff. I see what people are saying with the early kickoff, but Salah, a goal in every single game week 1 fixture, which is ridiculous. Robbo, Diaz, Robbo, Salah or Kane. Take Salah as the captain, lads. Wouldn't go massively differential game week 1 on the captain. Chuck Mo Salah on the captain's armband. That's my advice. Do with it what you will, but Salah on captain. Go on then. Ramsdale, Trent, Robbo, Cancelo, Reece James, Diaz. Very premium defense. Salah, Martinelli, Neto, Kane, Jesus. Yeah, great team. 5-3-2 with a very premium defense. I like it. It's a great team. Between Cash and Dean, who would you pick? They're both very attacking. I think they're both equally as attacking as each other. How many minutes did Cash get? 33. Yeah, 3,300. The only issue with Dean is that he gets injured a bit. That's probably the difference between the two. So for that reason, I take Cash. But Dean, very good asset, very attacking as well. Don't sleep on Dean and think, oh yeah, just Cash is the only attacking fullback. Dean's nice, but he just gets injured. Salah might dip in form this season without Mane. Well, they've got Diaz in there as well for that Liverpool attack. I think Salah's still going to do Salah type things with or without Mane. Such a great player. Do I go Rashford or Neto for the first 8 game weeks? I'll have a look. Player points projections by Fix for the first 8 game weeks. Who is expected to score more points? So I'm guessing if you're looking for a wildcard game week 8, you just lock this midfielder slot in. Don't worry about it. Okay. Neto in the first 8. Fix don't rate him that much. I'd probably lean towards Rashford, to be honest. I think, yeah, Rashford's in a better attack. $7.7 mil players now. That's crazy. That is crazy. There's only going to be 8 mil. Thoughts on the team? Edison, Ward, Nico Williams, Robbo, Trent, Cancelo, Zinchenko. Very nice starting 4. Saka, Bailey, Salah, Neto. Nice. Jesus Kane. Nice. Good team. I like it. Very good team. Would you rather have Martinelli and Reece James over Nico Williams and Saka? I'm happy with your defense at this current stage. I mean, dropping to a 5-3-2 gives you a little bit less flexibility, which is the only thing. So, I'm happy with that. Ramsdale, Trent, Rich James, Cancelo, Cash, Salah, Martinelli, Neto, Grealish, Kane, Jesus. Solid team. Abanash, very nice team, mate. Martinez, Cancelo, Trent, James, Salah, Podence, Bailey, Diaz, Odegaard, Kane, Jesus. I go Odegaard down to Martinelli. I think he will provide more attacking returns than Odegaard, and I'd probably go Neto instead of Podence. That's what I'd say. If not, go... Oh, you got Bailey there anyway. So, yeah, probably Neto instead of Podence. Massive dilemma. Here we go. Ramsdale, Trips, and Mount or Ward, James, and Saka with already 2 Arsenal attackers. I'd still go Ward, James, and Saka. Triple Arsenal attack is viable. So Hill, nice team. Is it better to go Luis Diaz and James or Mount and Robertson? I prefer Luis Diaz to Mason Mount. But I'd also then prefer Robertson instead of Reece James. But I think Luis Diaz is probably... The gap between Diaz and Mount is a bit bigger. So I think I'd take Diaz and Reece James. Where'd you come last year? We came inside 90k. After having a tough start to the season without Fernandez. In game week 1. But yeah, the goal this year is top 50k. I mean, top 10k as well, of course, is always a goal. Robbo or Diaz? I'd take Robbo. If I had to pick one or the other, I'd pick Robbo. Because he has those chances of clean sheets every week. My thoughts on Neto. So my final thoughts on Neto are, I really liked him when Jimenez was fit and healthy, and he was doing really well in pre-season. Neto, I think he got 3 goals and 2 assists in pre-season. Now that Jimenez is out, it takes a lot out of that Wolves attack, and I think Wolves will struggle to score goals, especially to start the year, without like a recognised striker. Because I'm assuming we're going to have to play Hwang Hee-chan as a striker, which is not ideal because he's not the greatest striker going around. So I'd lean towards not having him in the side, actually, to be honest. I think he will underperform against some people's expectations. Lloris, Cash, Trent, Robbo, Walker, Salah, Mahrez, Podence, Bailey, Jesus, Kane, Andreas, Nico, Iverson, Taylor. Good team, Sahil. What do you think of Grealish? I mean, even when he does play, he's not even that attacking. Like, I was looking at preseason, he wasn't getting extremely far forward. It looked to be the furthest front 3 was De Bruyne, Haaland, and Mahrez were kind of turned into the front 3, and Grealish was a little bit behind them. But at 7 mil is a good way into their attack. If you want to tick off that Man City attack and you don't have Haaland already, then I can see Grealish being a nice way into that attack. But I wouldn't expect massive returns from him personally. Martinelli and a 4.5 keeper and 1.5 in the bank, or Saka and 4.0 keeper, 0 in the bank. I go... Oof. think it's important to have a 4.5. It's a bit risky going the double 4.0 keepers, I think. I love Mahrez as an FPL asset, but I'm not sure if he'll get mins. Yeah, I know. Me too. I love him as an FPL asset, but I think he should start again week 1 at least, and I'm hoping he starts against Bournemouth at home, that's for sure. See, maybe we go Saka for game week 1 and then switch to Mahrez game week 2 if we like what we see. I mean, that's a possibility. Yeah, I just cannot decide between these two lads. I mean, that can be the team as well. I like this team. I like both teams. I can't decide, and I've got 10 minutes to make up my mind. Maybe we go with Saka. Play it safe. If Mahrez pops off game week 1, we can always switch to him game week 2. Bournemouth at home is a great fixture. Am I stupid for captaining Jesus? Not necessarily for captaining Jesus, but for not captaining Salah is the only thing. I think Crystal Palace's defence as well is pretty solid at home. Like, they're a solid home side. So I think they'll make it tough for Arsenal to score. I don't think Arsenal are just going to walk over them like I've seen a few people think. Darwin Núñez, he's expensive and he takes up a Liverpool slot where I'd rather prefer Salah, Diaz, Robertson or Trent. That's my personal thoughts on him. Saka over Martinelli, then Mahrez. Yeah, that's a potential play. That's what we're thinking. So I play it safe. We'll go with Saka this week. High ownership. Don't want to get hurt by him if he scores well. If Mahrez looks really good, if he impresses, if he gets a goal and assist, we can switch to him game week 2. Bournemouth at home. Excellent fixture. He hopefully will start. And we can always wildcard out of it if we need to. That can be the theory. That's a reasonable theory. Am I stupid for having Núñez? No, you're not stupid for having Núñez. He's a fine pick to have in the team. But I just personally prefer Diaz, Salah, Trent and Robertson. Start Neto, Bailey or Dean. If I start one of them, I'd probably start Dean because he's got the Bournemouth away. It's a good chance for a clean sheet for him. Maybe get an assist. Going for Saka game week 1, then I'll consider putting Mahrez or whoever gets good game time in that C squad. Yeah, that's a fair point. When should I play my triple captain and bench boost? Yes, this is another quick thing. Save most of the chips, obviously except for Wildcard, because this season we'll use the Wildcard early, but there'll be double game weeks throughout the season where teams have 2 fixtures in one game week essentially, so they get 2 games combined counting to their score. So that's when you really want to save the triple captain and bench boost for. One for the double game weeks when there's teams with like 2 fixtures in a game week. We saw Manchester United a couple of seasons ago with 3 fixtures in a game week. But yeah, that's when you want to use the triple captain. I mean, last season we used triple captain on Mo Salah. He was versus Norwich and someone else in a double game week, and he got like 28 points or something like that, nearly 30 points. So save definitely the bench boost and triple captain for the double game weeks. What do you think of Chilwell? Not a massive fan. I was a big fan coming into the season, but especially with the signing of Cucurella, I'm not 100% sold in that Chelsea defense right now. So I'm going to steer clear of Chilwell for now. We'll have to see if he becomes nailed over the season over Cucurella, and I want to see how that Chelsea defense performs. Really. Will opponents play number 9 forwards? I think Hwang will, and opponents will play out wide. That's what I expect. I'm going to risk it. Mahrez if I could keep Martinelli. Fair play. Can go for the risk. Robertson or Saka? Maybe just Robertson. But both great picks. Start Rashford or Robertson. Robertson, Fulham away, great fixture. Brighton at home can frustrate. Brighton at home could be a bit frustrating for United. Ramsdale and Neto, or Raya and Sanchez and Martinelli. I'd go Raya or Sanchez and Martinelli. Probably Raya and Martinelli. Saka or Mount. Saka. Robertson or Luis Diaz. Robertson. That's pretty much it. 5 minutes until the deadline. I think I'm happy with this team. I'm confident in my team. The reason we've not gone with Sanchez is I don't think Ward's going to be starting for much longer. I think he'll start for 3 or 4 weeks. It's not enough time to get good value out of the Sanchez rotation. David Raya, good longer term fixtures from game week 3 onwards. Good points per game last season. Top 5 points per game for goalkeepers last season. Good balance of clean sheet potential and save potential. Ramsdale, Cancelo, Trent, Reece James, Martinelli, Salah, Coutinho, Bailey, Jesus, Wilson, Vardy. I think Jamie Piggott's team has got Jamie Vardy as well, actually, which is interesting to see. The number 1 FPL manager last season's gone with Vardy in his squad. Definitely a differential. Personally, though, I look to downgrade Wilson and Coutinho downgrade Wilson to upgrade Coutinho to a premium, just because I like 2 premiums. I think 1 premium you're lacking those hard hitters, those Kane, Haaland, De Bruyne, Son, whoever you fancy. Franco, I like your thinking. Yeah, that's smart. Swap Gabriel for Cash and Trippier now, because I guarantee you come game week 2, you're going to be looking at that Bournemouth at home fixture and thinking, oh, I want Mahrez in my team. I want a Man City player in my team. Saka or Diaz, I have Martinelli. It's a very difficult decision. Maybe Diaz. Yeah, I understand, Zach, what you're saying 100%. Like, it's not as easy as people do think, but it's not necessarily just for this game week. Like, looking at the game weeks beyond that, Leicester, Bournemouth, Fulham, Aston Villa. And I think I'm happy just to play it safe for game week 1, have Saka in the team, and then I can switch to Mahrez game week 2. Because I prefer Saka against Crystal Palace away compared to Mahrez against West Ham away. And then if Mahrez impresses, I can switch to him in game week 2. That's the thinking with that one. Is the double up on Bailey and Cash good? Yeah, it's fine. Risky with no City attacker. Well, yeah, but as I said, we can always switch in game week 2 if we need to. Mount or Sancho? Probably Mason Mount. Alright, everyone, make sure the teams are locked in. 1 minute, 1.5 minutes before the deadline. Make sure your team is locked in. Make sure the bench order's right. Ward against Brentford at home. Maybe I start Ward over Raya. Lads, thoughts? Raya against Leicester away or Ward against Brentford at home? Go either way. Yeah, everyone quickly head over to the FPL website. Make sure those teams are locked in. Benches in order. Captain's on Mo Salah. Vice captain's on someone else that you think's going to do well. Back yourself in. I'd say Ward. I'm thinking Ward as well, actually. I'm thinking Ward as well. Maybe we do go back that Leicester defence in. Save. Or did that change not save? Maybe the change didn't save. It did save. Okay, that's it. We're done. Lads, no more tinkering. FPL just put out a tweet. We're happy with the team. What has FPL tweeted? No more changes with my favourite referee. Perfect. Cool. Well, thank you for everyone that has tuned into the stream. A very enjoyable deadline stream. Good luck for the new season, as always. There's going to be plenty of content from our channel, obviously, coming out throughout the season. Stay tuned for our first thoughts video. That will be coming out later. I believe it'll be Saturday morning in the UK. We'll give our first thoughts on the Arsenal game, discuss some key stats for that game, looking at some, the various players from Crystal Palace and Arsenal's, their match stats, discuss who looked really, really good, who should you guys keep their eye on, who should you keep your eye on for the game weeks ahead. But as I say, thank you so much for everyone that has tuned to the stream. Best of luck for the new season and game week 1. And that being said, I'll see you guys